Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to present the new British tier 10 wheeled medium tank, the Concept 5. How good is this tank and can it compete against all the other medium tanks on its tier? Let's find out in this video. So far, we have taken a look at the tier 6, 7, 8 and tier 9 tank of the new British wheeled medium tech tree line. If you haven't watched those videos yet, feel free to do so. I will link them in this video starting right here. In my opinion, apart from the tier 6 and maybe the tier 7 tank, the British wheeled medium tanks are pretty weak and rather below average. So today it is time to talk about the crown of the tech tree, the tier 10 Concept 5. How does this tank perform and is all the pain grinding this tech tree line worth it or not? Let's find out in this video. Concept 5 in a nutshell: you get an excellent sniper with 430 alpha damage, which has enough mobility to be flexible in a game. So what you should do is you should try to use this precision gun alongside with the mobility and try to arrive where you can get damage and where you are needed. So take a look at the minimap and see how we are the fastest tank and how we can close in to the adversary tank to arrive there first and to simply get the damage and take the damage that we want to see. Now, due to the fact that this tank has literally no DPM, you always want to play defensively. So you want to peek out of cover, take a shot, and then always be able to fall back into cover in order to reload your gun and not be susceptible to adversary shots. It's always the same. You try to take a shot and then you want to fall back into cover and take 10 seconds until your gun is reloaded and until you are not spotted anymore. Peek out of cover, take a shot with your precise gun, and then fall back so that you don't get hit. Another thing to talk about is the mechanics of the wheels. So yes, it is true, if your wheels get damaged, you can't continue to drive. You can keep driving. However, the speed is reduced significantly. And that is important to mention because opposed to the French light tanks, this tank becomes, and all of the British wheeled medium tanks become really slow if one or more wheels are destroyed or damaged. And this is important because if you peek out of cover and you do not have your repair kit available like I do in this situation, if you get spotted, or keep in mind this tank is not the best spotter, then you do have a problem. So notice how I can't continue to move. Now this bounce was super lucky. Usually you do not bounce anything in this tank, but I am down to a very slow reverse speed. So this is dangerous and you have to keep that in mind. It's not that you can keep moving like you're used to once your wheels get damaged. One thing I would like to mention as well, so in my opinion this tank is let's say a glass cannon tank which is meant for mobility and for precise sniping. So its brother is basically the Leopard 1, so the German tier 10 medium tank. This is basically the brother of the Leopard 1. Now take a look at the stats comparison. So first of all, the Leopard 1 has the better DPM. It also has the better penetration value. Of course, the Concept 5 has 10 more alpha damage, hooray! The Leopard 1 has the better shell velocity. Now, the Leopard 1 even has the better gun handling, and don't get me wrong, the gun handling on the Concept 5 is fantastic and I really adore it. However, the one on the Leopard 1, maybe apart from the dispersion values while moving and while moving your turret or your tank, the gun handling on the Leopard 1 is better. So let's take a look at the mobility. Well, apart from the power to weight ratio, the mobility of the Leopard 1 is better because it has a higher top speed. Armor, of course, well, both tanks do not have any armor whatsoever. Yes, the turret armor frontally on the Concept 5 is better, preventing you to eat HE shells. However, the whole tank is much bigger compared to the Leopard 1 and it's just a huge bulky tank. and so much easier to hit than the Leopard 1. And then when it comes to the concealment and spotting ability, the camo value on the Concept 5 is also worse compared to the Leopard 1, plus the Leopard 1 has the better view range. So apart from 10 alpha damage and I don't know, a tiny touch better dispersion values while on the move and the power to weight ratio, this tank is flat out worse compared to the Leopard 1. And I don't know, I simply do not understand how Wargaming can bring such a tank into the game. Yeah, that's just how it is. Bad news if we take a look at the pure statistics of the tank. But let's now jump into some gameplay and see how the tank can perform on the battlefield. Now let's start with the first battle, and in this battle I want to show you what you can achieve with mobility and why mobility is so important in World of Tanks. So a tank which has no armor but is very mobile can actually work and works as of now in the current meta in World of Tanks. So this is what I want to show you in the first match. So we are spawning in a top tier scenario. Now if you've watched my videos, you know that I think that the southern portion of the map is the most important one. So we use the mobility of the Concept 5. It is not the best on any medium tank in the game, but it is pretty decent and it is a very fast tank. So the combination of a high alpha gun on a medium tank, which is super precise, and mobility actually works, and I think this is why this tank is one of the better ones of the British medium wheeled tech tree line. So as you can see, the two E50s, those tanks are also, like, I would say the mobility is not below average. It is not above average, but also not below average. So we arrive at this very important position first, and so we will be able, here you go, to spot the tank and to take a shot. And due to our fantastic speed and also reverse speed, we are able to fall back into cover and not take any shot. So now our platoon of E50s is making pressure, which is excellent because they have the armor that you need in order to make aggressive plays. We do not. So they move out, and okay, this shot was a bit unfortunate. We want to get another shot on the object for 30U. So now it is time to once again use our mobility and to proceed ahead. And okay, we are taking a shot from the middle, okay, from the Scorpion G, which is fine. And now, you know what? Let me see whether I can get a shot onto this tank. Now, in the Concept 5, you always want to be cautious, you want to be patient, and you want to play defensively. But you want to also use your mobility. And now, as the WZ-132, the Mark II, and the Skoda T56 are positioned around the lake, I want to go to this position and I want to spot for my team so that I get all the sweet assisting damage. Now I want to peek out just a tiny touch so to get a shot onto this tank, and then I want to fall back into cover because I cannot rely on my DPM. Now the Skoda T50 is pushing me and I need support, otherwise I will get clipped out. The only chance in this tank, due to the lackluster DPM, is the support of your opponents. But I can make this pressure. Okay, this was very unfortunate. I can make this aggressive play because I have the support of my team. And they are situated, or they are positioned around the lake so that they all can take a shot onto the Skoda T50. So this is why I can make this aggressive play. But you should not be on a flank on your own. You should always have the support of your teammates in this tank due to the, once again, lackluster DPM. Now here you go, a fantastic shot. Now hitting your opponents is not difficult in this tank. I have to say, just like the other British medium tanks, this tank is not a snapshot queen. It is, of course, much better also when it comes to snapshots compared to the, let's say, Centurion Action X. However, it is not a snapshot queen. However, if you aim in your shots, you will most likely hit them, or basically hit where you were aiming. Now, one word of caution, one thing I discovered during my games was that This tank is unfortunately not a pixel sniper. I had lots of occasions where I tried to hit a cupola, like an adversary tank showing 2 pixels of its cupola, and I was desperately trying to hit the cupola, but I failed multiple times. So this tank is not the best pixel sniper. However, if you have more than a pixel available of the adversary tank, then if you fully aim in your tank, then you will certainly hit your opponent. Now take a look at what I am doing here. So once again, in this tank, you always want to cover for your bad reload time. So you always want to be in a situation in which you can fall back into cover and then move out once your gun has reloaded. This is how you make use of your 430 alpha gun, and how you decrease or how you overcome or compensate the drawback of your lackluster DPM. So I always fall out of cover and instantaneously reverse, so that this tank is unable and not willing to prosecute me and to try to take me out. And this is the success. This is how you can play this tank successfully. So you always want to basically use your gun, use your mobility, be where the fight takes place, but you always want to have a way out of the situation so that you do not need to rely on your lackluster DPM, because any medium tank in the game will simply out DPM you and you have no armor whatsoever. This is important, and I think this game really showed the playstyle of this tank. Now, is it fun to play? In my opinion, yes, because I like precise guns, I like fast tanks, and if you are into fast tanks, then the Concept 5 is really a tank for you. It is very huge, it does not have a good concealment value, so it's not the best spotter, but it is a fantastic tank simply due to the combination of precision, of good alpha for medium tank, and because of its mobility. Alright, so can we kind of trick the Japanese tank destroyer? Well, we are pretending to go like this. Now, as we're not spotted anymore, we will turn around, and then I hope that we can get some more damage from the other side. Hopefully the Kari has already turned around. Now, in a tank which has no armor whatsoever, you want to play smart. So if you kind of have not the best map awareness, not the best mini-map awareness, then this tank will be tough to play for you. So keep in mind, it is tough to play, but if you know what you are doing, you can really make this tank work. Once again, due to its flexibility, because it is mobile, it can change flanks rapidly, plus it has a good alpha with which you can trade, plus you can snipe in this tank. Alright, can we get one more shot is the question. So far we made 4.4 combined. Here you go. Okay, so now we want to move out and see that we can take the shot. Here you go, bam, nice. And now, okay, there is the Japanese tank destroyer. Hopefully he's not taking a shot onto me. Let's reverse, and yes, he does. Alright, so yeah, but nonetheless, 3,700 damage, 1,200 assisting damage, so overall 4.9k combined, and I think this was a decent result, decent battle, which really showed the strength of this tank. Alright, so we have seen what this tank is all about. Let me now quickly show you how I play this tank. So as you can see, my crew has brothers in arms, then all the view range skills, the concealment skills, and then some perks like smooth ride, which even increases the accuracy on the move. And then the driver is also working on off-road driving, which is super important because of the bad terrain resistance values of this tank. Now, intuition is also something you need to have in order to be quickly able to switch between the shells. And then I'm working on repairs, which is super important due to the mechanics of the wheels. So you want to be able to repair your wheels as soon as possible if you do not have your repair kit available. Now, notice how my concealment value is pretty damn bad even after my crew has fully trained the concealment perk. So 22 while stationary and 17 while on the move. Notice that I do not play my tanks with any premium consumable whatsoever, but yeah, this is not a good value for a tier 10 medium tank. Now I play this tank with an improved with the mobility improvement system tier 3, so this is very powerful because it doesn't only improve my mobility but also my gun handling, making this tank even more precise. Now I played the tank with coated optics because I want to further boost the fantastic view range, plus as I said, I do not play with the premium consumable whatsoever, so this is a must-have for me. And then I use a gun rammer. Usually I think that you should enhance the strength of the tank rather than to decrease the weakness. However, if you use a gun rammer on this tank, you get a reload time of 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is the magical number that you need in order to fall back, or in order to fall back and not be spotted anymore. So with this 10 seconds, this makes sure that I do not have to wait more than 10 seconds. So as soon as I am not spotted anymore, I can pretty much take the next shot. And I think this is an insane advantage, and in my opinion you should not get rid of a gun rammer while playing this tank. Besides this, due to the fantastic standard penetration value, I use a lot of standard shells and only take 16 premium shells with me. So yeah, all in all, this is how I play the tank, and let's now jump into the next game. Alright, second game in the Concept 5. This time we are spawning on Fisherman's Bay in a tier 10 battle, and let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Fisherman's Bay in the south with the Concept 5, this is how the game usually develops, and with the Concept 5 you have multiple options because this tank is so flexible. Now of course you can go to the heavy lane and try to conduct second line gameplay, however this is pretty dangerous and a pretty risky play. Now you can also go to the middle, however you have to keep in mind that your spotting abilities are worse compared to other medium tanks, let alone light tanks. So this is very risky, and this is why, let's say if I'm not top tier, I play less aggressively and I go to this position and simply try to get damage with my precise gun on all the adversary tanks which are playing either here or here, and yeah, I simply try to stay alive and help my team with my precise gun. Alright, so as I said, I want to play more defensively from the get-go. Now here's one important tip to mention for this tank. Now basically, the longer you stay alive in any tank, this applies for any tank in World of Tanks, the higher the chance is that you will get more damage and leave the game with a higher damage output, i.e. have a better result. Now if you have a tank which is unable to out DPM your opponents, or if you have a tank which has lackluster armor, so which lacks the armor that you need in order to win a 1v1, let's say, or 1v many situation, then you have to play cautiously at the beginning of the game, and you have to make sure that you stay alive until the end of the battle, and so you cannot rush a strategic position as easily as in other tanks. You always have to have the support if you want to play aggressively or offensively in such a tank, and this is the playstyle of the Concept 5. This is important to mention, and the more you adhere to this strict role in such a tank, the better your results will be, and this is what I really found out, especially in this tank. So another thing to mention is, you saw me going into this bush and then instantaneously falling back, and I hadn't been spotted. But this is very important. This tank is super huge. It's a huge bulky tank, so it is a very easy target. Plus opponents can shoot HE and make tons of damage if they're shooting your tank and hitting your tank. So as the concealment value is lackluster for medium tank, what you want to do is you always want to go into a bush and then instantaneously reverse and first of all see whether you get spotted, whether there is another tank which is out spotting you in your bush. In such a huge bulky tank with no armor, you do not want to stand still in a bush and simply wait until you get spotted by chance and then bam bam bam, you are taken out of the game and you are sent back into your garage. So this is what I'm constantly doing in this tank. And besides this, I am simply waiting for the damage to appear, and I always want to be where the fight takes place and where I can make damage. Okay, this was very unfortunate. The Leopard 1 just drove back, and so I bounced off the frontal portion of the tank. So I'm not making an aggressive play. I'm simply waiting, maintaining my position, making sure that I do not get spotted, and I try to support my team where I can. Now, of course, it is a good technique to make a blind shot here and there and just shoot bushes where you expect enemies. So let's take one shot into this bush. Maybe the Leopard 1 is still in this position, and after every shot I fall back because my reload time is 10 seconds anyway, and so I can easily fall back and give myself those okay, here we go, nice, and give myself those 10 seconds that I need until I'm not spotted and until I can be sure that I will not be spotted anymore, and then I reverse back into the bush, and yeah, I'm pretty much safe from adversary tanks taking shots at my tank. So I think this is how you should play this tank, and you should really make sure that you do not play too offensively. Okay, that was a missed situation, a missed opportunity right here. So as you can see, the game is pretty close. Yes, of course, I could try to make pressure, but the reason is, or the thing is, the game right now is 2-2-2, so there are so many tanks still in the game. So the best thing I can do is I can simply maintain patient and just make sure that I participate until the end of the game, so that I can make more damage than only 1200, which I could make as of now. Okay, so we go maybe the WoT 65 will fall back into this bush. Here you go, nice. That's what I want to see. So nice. A track shot, but this tank could use its repair kit and fall back into cover, unfortunately. That's how it is. But so far, even with my defensive gameplay, I managed to make 1700 damage and 1500 assisting damage. And I think this necessity of a defensive playstyle is compensated by the good alpha damage of 430. This tank has even a better alpha damage than compared to some let's say heavy tanks, for example the Super Conqueror. Of course, a Super Conqueror will out DPM you any day of the week, but I mean, this tank is a peekaboo tank, so you want to take a shot, you want to fall back into cover, you want to make sure that 10 seconds have elapsed. You need those 10 seconds anyway for your reload time, and then you can basically re-enter a bush unspotted and just take another shot. Okay, here we go, nice. This is an easy target for me, nice. And as I track the E50M, I get assisting damage, and can we take him out? This was lucky, but yep, I take it. Now, one thing I should also mention is the great standard penetration of 260 is really a nice thing in this tank. And so you can really, for the most part, use your standard ammunition. The shell velocity is also great, and so in most of the cases you do not need your premium ammunition, simply because you have 260 millimeters of penetration, which is way enough to pen even the weak spots of the most heavily armored tanks in World of Tanks. Plus, as you are a very mobile tank, you are constantly trying to flank other, or I'd say adversary tanks anyway, and so most of the time you do not need premium ammunition in this tank. Here you go, STB1 is making pressure, and the thing in this situation is I could use my mobility to go to him, but I do not want to risk anything. The game is still relatively close. Here you go, nice, and okay, that was unfortunate. And now the STB1 will most likely get taken out by the Minotauro. But I think I will relocate and try to get a shot onto the Minotauro if he pushes the STB1, which I think is behind cover. Okay, the Bosch 155 is trying to make pressure, and you know what? I will simply take a, there you go, bam, shot into the lower hull. Nice. I think I could have even penetrated the upper hull. Okay, the SB1 is taken out, and now I want to run. I want to run. The game is close. I do not want to lose any HP whatsoever because I want to maintain my HP until the end of the game. So that I have the chance of playing aggressively and consciously trading in my HP at the end of the game to get further damage. This is my playstyle. This is what I want to see in this tank. You always need to be aware of the minimap, and you need to see where your tanks, your teammates are located, because once again you always have to rely on your team, and you have to make sure that your team is able to help you out, because you simply cannot win a 1v1 engagement because of your lackluster DPM and your lack of armor. Okay, so 3100 damage and 1900 assisting damage. That is a pretty decent result. And if you take a look at the minimap, you can clearly see that all tanks were spotted. The Leopard 1 is in its position at the A lane, and so yep, here you go. And so it is now time. Oh, B. Okay, fortunately, okay, I got spotted. Fortunately, that was lucky. Fortunately, I didn't lose any HP, and now it is time to make pressure onto the Minotauro. Once again, I cannot push him on my own. Here you go. But I need to make sure that I make a smart approach onto this tank. Now, he thinks that I am still on the one lane, but I am not. I'm flanking this tank. And now I want to track him. Okay, I take the fact that I do not make any damage once I track him, but well, actually tracking this tank in this situation was not the correct thing. He is now reversing, so I should have made damage. Anyway, okay, he's taken out, and as you can see, okay, let's reverse because the Leopard 1 is, here you go, and he takes a shot, but that is not a problem at all because we can now take him out. So as you can see, it is super important to maintain your HP until the end of the game, because in such situations you really need them. Alright, 3900 damage, 1900 assisting damage, so 5.8k combined, and let's see what we can do. Now it is imperative to use your mobility and to proceed to the adversary tanks as fast as possible. Unfortunately, we were a bit too late here, but maybe we can get another shot onto the other tanks. So I think the playstyle of this tank is now relatively clear. You are a flexible tank, you are a mobile tank, you have a good alpha damage, but no armor, not a good concealment value. Here you go. Now, yeah, notice how I am able to take one shot now because I've preserved my HP, and so I can simply move out of cover and take another shot. So let me finish my sentence. Yes, you are a mobile tank, so you should use your mobility. You should use your precise sniping gun, and then simply play defensively. Always have your teammates around you. Relocate if you are alone on a flank, and then simply try to stay alive and make as much damage as you can. Alright, third game. This time we're spawning on Safe Haven once again in a tier 10 matchup. And let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Safe Haven in the east, this is how the game usually develops. And with the Concept 5, I like to go to the medium flank because once again, yes, I can try to conduct second line gameplay. However, this is pretty difficult to do on a map, on a heavy flank, if you are playing against multiple tanks. So I like to go to this position and then simply try to get shots onto maybe those tanks, maybe the tanks over here on this side. However, I always want to try to play defensively and cautiously and maintain my HP until I need them further on in the game. So as you can see, we have a Badger 25T and a Leopard 1 and a TVP T5051 in our team. Now, compared to the Badger 25T, I do not have the instantaneous firepower to play aggressively. Same applies for the TVP T5051. I simply do not have the combination of an autoloader gun alongside with the good DPM. I also have a lackluster DPM compared to the Leopard 1. This thing also does not have any armor, but at least it does have quite some DPM. So because I do not have all those advantages, I need to play defensively and I need to make sure that there's always an exit option for my tank. Now this does not mean that you need to remain at the, that was super unfortunate, at the back of the map and simply conduct redline sniping, but it simply means that you need to be aware of what's going on in the game and you always have to have an exit option. Alright, looks like the adversary team is playing aggressively with the object 140, but as of now there are enough teammates which can help me out. So I want to maintain in this position and simply snipe the hell out of the adversary object 140, at least if he's doing such mistakes. Excellent. Can I get a shot onto the WoT 65? This is what I would love to do. Now he has spotted me. I need to make sure that I evade all those artillery shells. Now you can listen to the artillery and you hear artillery, the adversary artillery firing, and so this is what you need to pay attention. And if you hear an incoming shell, then you have to fall back and leave the spot where you were just positioned so that you evade the adversary artillery shell. Okay, nice. We got 927 assisting damage due to the fire that we caused to the object 140. Excellent. Okay, so let's fall back because this thing is approaching our TVP T5051. So if he tries to push our teammate, then we will be ready to take a shot. And here you go. Looks like he's pushing. Yep, our tank. Okay, that was super stupid from my side. Super stupid, but we can take another shot. And you know what? Here you go. Bam. Here you go. Nice. Okay, he takes out the Leopard 1, but we can take another shot. He might have already reloaded, but here you go. Nice. Due to the fact that he is stunned, he didn't get another shot onto me. And now I am the only one on my side. So, okay, he's trying to push me out, but you know what? I will relocate because once again, it is imperative that you understand that due to the combination of no armor and lackluster DPM, you are not the tank which is able to brawl or to win a 1v1 engagement against another tank. And that applies basically for all other tanks. Even tier 8 tanks can outperform you. And as they do not have any problems penetrating your tank, you can't even compete against a tier 8 in a 1v1 engagement. This is important to notice and you cannot stress that enough if you're playing this tank. Alright, so let's see whether we can get another or some more damage. The game is relatively close and so we still need to... Okay, I'm spotted, which is not good. Yeah, okay, he takes a shot. That's a very clever play. Yeah, okay. And now my wheel is destroyed, but I can repair it. And let me see. Okay, I cannot get a shot onto this tank. So let's see how it goes. This tank does not have too much gun depression, only 8 degrees, and so I mean it's not the worst value of all times, but it's also not as excellent as in let's say in an American tier 10 medium tank, or for example a tank like the Centurion Action X. Yeah, that was the situation that I already showed you. And so in this situation, I'm super lucky that I bounced the shot of the object 268. Super lucky, because otherwise I would have been taken out of the game. An excellent demonstration of the wheel mechanics of those tanks, and it's really different to the French wheeled light tanks. So this is what you have to be aware of if you are playing this tank. I think now, in order to come to a conclusion, is this tank strong? Well, yes, I would say in the hands of a good player, this tank is strong because of the combination of a precise gun with a relatively high alpha damage, alongside with its mobility. However, a decent player can also be strong in a Leopard 1, and a decent player will always get a better result in a Leopard 1 compared to this tank. So it is, I'd say, slightly above average, but it is pretty difficult to play. And you should always try to be smart in this tank and try to outplay your opponent. So like in this situation, I am taking a shot onto the Leopard. I'm surprising him. I immediately fall back into cover, showing this tank that I'm not interested in another shot. And so I wait until the Badger is making pressure, and I wait until this tank decides to turn around, and then this is my time to get some more damage. You should always try to conduct such smart gameplay in this tank, because once again you do not have any armor and you simply cannot win a 1v1 situation. And bam, I cause a fire, nice, and yeah, we win the game. So all in all, I really like this tank, and I don't know, it was really fun for me to play this tank. It is lackluster compared to other medium tanks. It is basically the same playstyle as the Leopard 1, but it is lackluster due to a worse mobility, due to a worse DPM, due to a worse concealment value. Nonetheless, I like this tank. I like this tank a lot. It is fun to play. And but on the other side, another drawback is that it's tough to play, it is tough to master, and so in my opinion a pretty interesting tank. Unfortunately, due to all those disadvantages, I think we will see the statistics of this tank drop in the next month, simply because the average player will also start playing this tank. And I think for the average player, this tank is relatively difficult to play. But all in all, I like this tank, and I really have to say that I had fun playing this tank. And in the right situation, you will have decent results if you know what you are doing. Alright guys, that was it for today with the video about the new tier 10 British wheeled medium tank, the Concept 5. Do you like this tank? Do you like the new British wheeled tech tree line? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Consider subscribing to my channel, and I see you next time in another World of Tanks video.